Hi there, my name is Kadison Noack, and for my Year 12 research project, I studied the topic of how to play ranked games in League of Legends as an effective team. The following video is my 10-minute multimodal presentation in the outcome format. All the videos and examples shown are either referenced below the video or were recorded via a low recorder from inside of the game. I hope you enjoy. The popular multiplayer online battle arena, or MOBA, League of Legends, has been the most played game of its genre for over a year now, and recently, the most played video game per hour in the world. With 70 million registered players, and peaking at 3 million players online consistently, there is no doubt that LoL is dominating the online gaming world. The reasons for this are the fantastic mechanics behind the game itself. With a simple interface and skill set that allows new players to grasp a hold of the basics quite quickly, all the way up to allowing the professional skilled gaming teams to compete for the multi-million-dollar prize pool. The best way to conquer the MOBA's fields of justice is to understand how you can work effectively as a team, and the certain mechanics you will need to focus on to outplay your opponents. The first and foremost of these is last hitting, commonly referred to as farming. This skill involves dealing the last amount of damage to a minion, which will grant a set amount of gold. Your team's global gold is affected by the amount of farm you have, and the more gold you acquire, the better position you'll be in when it comes to team fights. Fraser Ramsey, a high-ranking player, states, "The most important skill you can learn and master in LoL would be to farm. You'd be surprised at what a 40 creep score can do between two mid laners." Almost every game of League of Legends can be won or lost in an instant due to bad positioning. To minimize this, aim to learn and master the positioning for your team role. If you are an ability power or attack damage carry, which means you deal the most specific sustained damage per second, then you're aiming to be on the outside of a fight and specifically selecting targets who you are able to kill. If you are the team's tank or initiator, that means you are the one who ideally starts your team's fights, then look for lapses in the enemy's defense, or smart initiations that can catch out important targets. A very significant part of positioning is peeling. This is where you use crowd control abilities on enemies trying to attack your carries. Keeping them alive will allow for your team to come out on top. To become the most influential player, you need to itemize correctly, and build items that will not only make you a powerful competitor, but also help your team with auras and debuffing the enemies. You need to look into what items play to your strengths, and whether counter items will be a viable choice. Here, as an example, attack damage carries should build as much attack damage or AD as possible, and counter enemy defensive choices with either armor penetration if they're stacking armor, or percentage health damage if they're stacking health. Your team's champion composition is a major decision that will be made in the champion select part of the game. At this time, you'll be looking into which carries you'll be using, and whether you are focusing on the early, mid, or late game. It is ideal to play the champions that you are best at, in the role specified, but even so there is generally a basic meta or game type that you will aim for, including an attack damage carry, an ability power carry, a solo top lane bruiser, and a utility or tank support and jungler, respectively. By utilizing the meta, you will have a wide variety of damage and utility, as well as crowd control disruptors who can peel for your team's carries. I like to break down the battlefield into 3 lines per side: the backline, wall, and crash. Crash is going to have your bruisers and assassins generally. Their purpose is to disrupt and kill the enemy backline. The wall is a little bit of both. They are there to prevent the enemy's backline from directly engaging your backline. The backline exists to deal sustained damage to whichever target is safely in their zone of control. Throughout the progression of levels to level 30, you will unlock multiple rune and mastery slots, and at certain milestones, such as level 10 and level 20, Tier 2 and Tier 3 versions of each rune become available. Using a full rune and mastery set for your specific champion greatly increases their starting strength and grants, theoretically, an extra 1,000 gold worth of items in-game, double the starting gold amount. They can also be used to counter your lane partner, such as with mid laners taking magic resist runes to negate some of the damage from their enemies' ability power abilities. Also, with the masteries available, supports can be granted extra gold for basic attacks on enemy champions, or start with an extra explorer award. All these elements are crucial to a strong early game presence. An unfortunate liability with League of Legends is that it's an online game based in North America on the North American server. This means for Australian clients, the latency value, or ping, will be averagely 190 or higher. The ping value is the amount of milliseconds you are behind the server, so a 220 ping will relate to a delay of 0.22 seconds on every action taken. So to people who do not play competitive games, this does not seem like a lot. But in a game based around split-second decisions and abilities, any kind of delay is crippling. To minimize the amount of ping you experience in a game, close any internet-related pages or devices, and having a cable connection to your internet router will give you a better connection speed than a wireless system. And to put an end to speculation, lowering your graphics and video settings in-game, or closing programs that are unconnected to the internet, such as folders, will not lower your ping. When it comes to team fights, good focus is essential. Depending on what has happened up to this point, will direct how you want to focus. If during the laning phase, one champion has been given many kills and is at a very strong level, then that champion would be a good idea to focus out of a fight. If one or more of their champions scale very well and will be much stronger in the late game, such as Anivia or Vayne, they are also good targets, and usually these are the enemy's carries. They are the highest priority targets if none of these other focus reasons are applicable. Focusing does not always apply to team fights though. It can relate to objectives that you are aiming to take, such as the Drake or Baron Nashor, or any specific turret. If your team is synchronized about knowing what they are aiming for, then you'll be able to make a solid play in getting the upper hand over the chosen objective. Overall, out of all the gameplay skill and team synergy components of playing as an effective team, the most important is communication. This is absolutely crucial in being able to outplay and outthink your opponents. By using programs such as Skype, Mumble, TeamSpeak, or Razer Comms Beta, you give yourself the advantage of knowing where the enemy team is from the input of all three lanes, and allow yourself to decipher what the enemy team is planning and either contest it or make your own strategy based on it. Communication opens doors for ideal composition building. With different roles prioritizing items that will give great overall damage and mobility, and communication of timing for objectives allows you to group and contest a lot more effectively than just hoping or guessing. The final key finding, but by far not the least important, is to not rage or become angry at your teammates. Esports are like any other sports, in that if you are angry, you'll perform worse, and especially since League of Legends will take a high level of concentration to micromanage all the mechanics you need to learn. If you are upset because of a mistake made by yourself or another player, do not put your thoughts into the game or public voice chat. This can be hard for some players, but simply put, any kind of grievance against another player will harm the synergy and synchronization that you're aiming for. The stress you'll experience when you are angry makes it hard to play at your best, and is definitely not helping your team if you decide to turn on them due to mistakes or bad gameplay, which will happen time to time. Events that happen in League of Legends vary per game, and nobody is perfect.